Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lion's Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lion's Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Not today. I'll be coming out with another lesson. I don't have much of a title for it, but I was watching this video by this guy named Richard Medhurst. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, you know, the Akim around the four corners of the earth know about this guy. He's a journalist, and he does a lot of reporting on things that they're not really putting in the mainstream media. You know what I'm saying? He shows you the truth about certain things. You know, he shines a light on certain things. And this video here, it was basically about, who creates refugees. Basically a refugee is someone that was driven from their own land, you know forced to settle in other places because of war and chaos and destruction is happening in their land. And with that, being said, when he asked the question, who creates refugees, or the title of the video, which I should have put the link in the description, but if anybody know who Richard Medhurst is, you can go to his channel on YouTube. But the first thing that came to my mind was Esau. He's the one that's creating these refugees. He's the reason why a lot of countries and different places around the four corners of the earth have a lack of resources. But without further ado, I'm gonna play a little bit of this video, and then I'm gonna get some scriptures.
I saw this tweet randomly. This was posted by Secretary of State Blinken, and of course it could be just a staffer who posted it for him. It doesn't matter really. So he says that on World Refugee Day, we recognize the courage and resilience of millions of refugees who have been forced to flee persecution. We also celebrate the numerous positive political, social, and economic contributions refugees make in the United States. It's lovely. Great. I mean, when you read this on paper or on screen, it sounds lovely. It really does. It sounds, nice and giddy. It's very positive, etc., etc. Except I can't help notice that most refugees in the world, where do they come from? Like, let's look at the bulk of refugees. Where do the majority of refugees come from? 52% of all refugees on Earth come from just 3 countries. Can you guys guess before I reveal them to you in a timely fashion? Just take a guess right now in the comments. Where do you think most refugees, the top 3 countries, where do you think most refugees come from? Take a guess. I'm going to stick around for a second just so I can read them out from the chat. There we go. We've got people saying Syria, Libya, Mexico, Iraq, Syria, Palestine, Spain, Libya, Brazil, Mexico. I don't know why there's a lot of Mexico, but I'm just reading them out. Afghanistan, Syria, Germany, Somalia, Pakistan. Well, the top 3 countries are Syria. I'm telling you now, right? Syria, Ukraine, and Afghanistan. What do these 3 countries have in common? What does Syria, Ukraine, and Afghanistan have in common? Take a guess. Once again, I kindly invite you to take a guess in the comments. What do you think these 3 countries have in common? Why do most refugees come from these 3 countries in particular? You all know the answer, and you know what I'm going to tell you, right? But by the way, just so you see, this is from the UNHCR, right? So the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Look at the screen here. You can see 6.8 million from Syria, 5.7 million from Ukraine, 5.7 million, same figure, from Afghanistan. Now, just to read the comments, you guys are saying the reason that most refugees come from here are drugs, U.S. footprint, U.S. imperialism, U.S. war. Yeah, there it is. It's U.S. imperialism. Ukraine, what's happening in Ukraine right now? Completely destabilized by NATO. Remember Victoria Nuland, that leaked phone call from a few years ago, where they were doing this coup in Ukraine in 2014, excuse me. They were doing this coup, and she said, F the EU. Why am I censoring myself? She said, quote, fuck the EU. Syria. What happened in Syria? Destroyed by the United States, by Israel, by Turkey, by the United Kingdom, by France, by the EU, by Germany, by Qatar. So
you notice every last one of those countries he named, in that recent what he just said. You notice they were all Edomite occupied countries, right? Let's continue.
once again, regime change over there, also trying to do a coup, right? And you had ISIS and Al Qaeda coming from the war in Iraq next door, so both countries just ruined. And Afghanistan, what happened there? Once again, our good friends in NATO. So everywhere you go, Afghanistan, Syria, and Ukraine, NATO is there. That's what these three countries have in common. I don't care who the hell disagrees with me. You are a dumbass and a clown. This is a fact. In these three countries, NATO invaded, NATO poured fuel on the fire, NATO conspired, NATO made things worse and aggravated the situation. This is a fact. I don't care how evil Taliban are and Bashar al-Assad is and blah, 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 and Putin. You can whine all day. Doesn't change the fact NATO went there. NATO went there with special forces, with their bases, and they destroyed these countries for decades. Decades. And they will take even longer to get back to where they were. Even longer. That is a fact. NATO destroyed Ukraine, destroyed Iraq, destroyed Afghanistan, destroyed Libya, all of them. This guy does not care one bit about refugees. He was in Obama's administration, just as Biden was, and Victoria Nuland, and all of these people when they were starting the war in Syria, starting the war in Libya, right? Bombing Libya with NATO. NATO is going to defend itself in Libya? What the hell is it? What do you mean defensive organization? How can you call it a defensive organization after what they did in Libya? Do you...
Okay, so I'm gonna end that right there. And as you can see, he named quite a bit, you know. But the one thing that it was in common, that all those things he was naming, you know, Esau. This is what he does. He goes around the four corners of the earth and he destroys everything. As a matter of fact, let's see. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So Esau is a transgressor, you know, by his wine, with his philosophies, his doctrines, his beliefs, his policies. That's his wine. That's what he transgressed by. You know what I'm saying? Esau, and he's a proud man. You got to be a very proud person or being to go in another country or go in somebody else place of residence or living and destroy it. You got to be very proud. And see, that's also another thing. Not keeping at home, meaning not minding your business, not keeping your nose where it don't belong. Meaning staying in your lane. Esau don't keep at home. He don't mind his own business. That's why he's in these other countries, using NATO and all these other proxy outlets to destroy other countries and cause collapse and chaos and damage and destruction everywhere. It says he said he enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. So everywhere Esau put his feet at, it's death and destruction, and he can't be satisfied. He takes resources from here, takes resources from there, and can't be satisfied. And when he run across one people or a nation that won't give up what he's trying to take from them, he destroys them. That's why it means by he is as death and hell. He can't be satisfied. And he's gathering unto himself all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Esau stayed trying to pull everybody in under one umbrella to be up under him so he could be out in front. But nonetheless, it's a judgment coming for that. But I'm going to jump over to Micah chapter 2, verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So woe to those that devise iniquity, that come up with immoral things to do, that work evil upon their beds. You know, they wake up thinking about wickedness, and this is what Esau does. That's why it says, work evil upon his beds, and when the morning is light, they practice it. When they wake up, they already come up with some kind of scheme or some kind of destructive measure to oppress people, to cause some kind of harm, because it is in the power of their hand. This is what Esau does. He don't even sleep unless he has caused somebody or something to fall or some kind of wrong in the earth. He can't sleep. His sleep will be taken away from him. So he got to screw up. He got to do something wrong. And Esau is the main reason why you have a lot of refugees, displaced people around the four corners of the earth. Verse 2, my last point. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. So Esau, he covets things. He wants what he cannot have. He takes what other people have. He wants what other people possess. And he take it by violence. Thus the wars, the bombings, the repeated attacks. He taking houses, destroying people's houses, taking them, snatching them out of their houses, taking them away, taking away their property. Oppressing a man in his own house, taking away a man's heritage. This is what Esau does. This is how he moves. Because he's the destroyer of the earth. He's set up by the Heavenly Father to destroy. He don't know how to do anything but wickedness and evil. He doesn't know how to do good. That's why the Lord got to come back and destroy the power structure of the tabernacles of Edom in the earth. Because if the Lord don't come back, there will be no flesh to be saved. And with that, shalom.